I think. We're going to flow. Okay, perfect. So just a little intro before we get started. I'm Mrs. Imperial. This is Miss Padilla. So we are the school counselors here at Holly. We both do a lot of things, but we kind of do different things as well. I go into all of the classrooms, TK through 5th grade, every other week, and do lessons. And the lessons are to help with students' ability to regulate their emotions. So I'm teaching them some coping skills, problem-solving skills, just really helpful tools for not just here at school, but overall in life as well. We have students that come into our offices and we'll check in with them, or we'll have small groups with them just to continue to help building on specific skills. And then Ms. Padilla will share what she does.
Hi everyone, thank you guys for being here today. My name is Miss Padilla, so I'm the other school counselor here. My office is located in the Dolphin Cove, which is a really popular room here at Holly. In the Dolphin Cove, we play games with the kids. Our new friends get to meet other new students, and we're just teaching them how to get along, how to be kind to each other, how to respect each other, and just how to take care of a space that is truly meant for them here at Holly. So today, we will be sharing some very helpful tips for a successful school year, but truthfully, these tips it's just good information for life. So some of the topics we'll be covering today are bedtime routines, technology usage, appropriate chores by age, healthy habits, and we'll be talking about making mistakes.
So one of the things that we really wanted to focus on, all of these things we have seen as a need, especially a good bedtime routine and a good bedtime. So children within this age group at the elementary level, so ages 6 through 11, they need at least 9 to 11 hours of sleep. That lack of sleep really impacts their ability to focus their attention here during the school day. It impacts their behaviors, their ability to remember things. So we really are encouraging families to set a really good bedtime time and a bedtime routine. So, and even on the weekends, it can be a little bit more flexible on the weekends, but if, the 6-year-old is allowed to stay up until 11 o'clock at night on the weekend, it is going to make that transition into the week much more challenging. So try to keep it as consistent as possible all 7 days. And whatever that routine might look like for you, I have an example on the next page. But one big thing that we're going to focus on, not just tonight, but anytime that we are able to share with parents, is screen time. So before bed, it really is recommended to not use any device, whether that's phone, tablet, TV, iPad, at least 1 hour before bed. And that's because of the blue light that emits from any of those devices. It's actually really bad for our brains. It doesn't allow our brains to rest, and so that impacts our sleep. So again, these are just samples of a morning routine and a nighttime routine. Obviously, we're not saying that you have to follow this to a T, but some families do need something like this to help guide them. So we created this in hopes that it could be helpful to you of what a good morning, maybe hopefully a more easier morning might look like for you, along with a nighttime routine. You notice on the bottom of the evening routine, again, we have that reminder of no electronics at least 1 hour before bedtime. We included some of these as well. I know maybe during winter break, summer break, spring break, we might be a little bit more flexible with what we're asking children to do in our homes. But again, back to the screen time, I think it's important to make sure that students are doing other things besides just being on a device all day. So this is something that we found that we think would be kind of helpful. It kind of checks off other important things. Did you brush your teeth? Did you make your bed? Did you finish your chores? Did you read for 20 minutes? And if you're able to check off all or at least some of these things, then you can use an electronic device.
So now we'll go ahead and talk about technology usage. I think we all know how addicting an iPhone, a Chromebook, a tablet can be. But I think it's really important to understand that these devices are really doing so much damage to our brains. And not just our brains, but the students' brains. So we have little humans here, they're still growing. So all that screen time is really hurting their brains. When we were looking at research, there was a study, they did a study on preschoolers, so 4-year-olds, and it showed that they had less progress in areas of the brain that's in control of like their impulsivity, their attention spans. So it's really just important to understand that screen time is really important. So we just want to make sure we're limiting that screen time. And also it's important to know that all of the content that is online, whether it's like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, it's really fast paced. So these kids are watching videos that are like 5 seconds long. It's no longer like the content was before. So the kids are really struggling with real life activities like a puzzle, reading a book, or even just sitting down watching a movie. Those things become really hard for them to focus on when their screen time is really high. So we really advise, we're being mindful with all of the things that they are watching, because as they get older, they'll struggle with their attention span. And then the last thing we'll talk about is that blue light exposure that we already talked about. So if kids are on their screens, especially at night, close to bedtime, they're going to struggle going to sleep. And we usually see that when they come to school, they're a little extra tired. So we want to be mindful, and we want to make sure that they put those iPads, those phones away like an hour before bed. That way they can really get that sleep, because kids need sleep, and it really just helps them grow.
This is some recommended screen time usage, kind of broken up by age. So 0 to 18 months, which obviously we don't have any of that age group here at school, but you probably have some at home. And research really avoids any screen time during this age, except for FaceTiming like grandparents, aunts, uncles, family members, things like that. 18 to 24 months is really recommended to only have high quality interactive content with an adult. So that might be you sitting next to your little one, really engaging in that content with them, not just letting them sit on the couch and view it for an extended period of time. And then ages 2 through 5 is limited to 1 hour a day. And again, it's that high quality content. I have a kid at home who falls into this category, and we really do try to limit this to even less than 1 hour a day. And again, this is co-viewed when possible. So obviously there are times when you need your 4-year-old to just sit still and be okay while you're rushing to bath time for your younger one. That's great, but really just keep in mind the limit. So it's not, you can do it for 20 minutes or so, but it shouldn't be an everyday thing. It really is impacting their brains in a negative way. And then ages 6 to 17, which is the group that we do have here at school, aiming for 2 hours or less of recreational screen time. So that is just scrolling on the phone, watching YouTube videos, on TikTok, doing things that are not really helpful, really limiting that. Really putting a focus on maintaining those healthy habits, a good positive sleep schedule, and truly just extracurricular outdoor activities, hands-on activities, getting them to be active and socialize with other humans, not just behind a screen. So again, we wanted to include some things of what to do if you go home and you say, we went to your school and they said no screens. They're going to be like, well, what am I supposed to do instead? So we're hoping that some of these would be helpful. My personal favorite is playing a board game with your family, including everybody in your family. This is something that because we do play games with students here, we found interesting that a lot of our students don't know how to play very basic board games. So play with your kids. It's really good skills for them to learn turn taking, good sportsmanship, all of those skills that are going to help them not just in elementary school, but for a long time.
So now we're going to talk about why kids should do chores, the best thing in the world. So chores are important, especially at a young age, because it teaches the kids how to be responsible and how to take ability. When a kid is learning to do chores around the house, they're really starting to feel like they have an important role. It also promotes independence. So if a kid is able to pick up after themselves and they know that they are capable to clean up without mom and dad, they'll also start to feel more confident in themselves because they're able to do things to help mom and dad. It also helps with executive functioning skills like planning, organizing, and it just helps them with that healthy routine. And healthy routines are really, really important for the little ones because that just helps them with life skills. And just overall, like it really makes them feel like you guys are a team. It's not like mom is telling me to do this, dad is telling me to do this. It's like we work together because we both live in the house and we clean the house together because we are a team, and that just really helps your relationship. Yes. So here are some examples of different chores for the appropriate age groups. So even it starts really young with the little ones, like your 2 to 3 year old. It's something as easy as making them clean up after themselves when they're done playing a game, and then they can go on to the next game. For a 4 to 6 year old, it could be something as easy as fixing their bed when they wake up. For 7 to 11-year-old, you guys can have them help you fold some laundry or take out the trash, and then once they're in middle school, you can designate them to clean the restroom. So here's just some examples.
So this next section is about healthy foods, which might sound like a little silly, but again, all of this is included because by working at the schools, we get to see what types of food students bring to school, what's in their lunch boxes, the type of snacks that they have, and oftentimes we see things that make us go, I don't know if that's that good of a choice. So we just wanted to include this as a reminder of some options that would be beneficial for you to send to school with your child, either for snack or for lunch, if they're not getting a school lunch. But breakfast is a wonderful start to the day. I know it can be challenging. Again, I have a 2-year-old at home. I know that mornings are not easy, but I do a lot of prepping the night before, the weekend before, to help me set up success for the rest of the week. So if you can try to prepare some breakfast so they have some food in their system. We're noticing kids are coming to school and they're saying that they're tired or they're hungry. So just being able to set them up to start the day with success. Water is the best drink. Sending them with sugary juices or sugary drinks like the Prime drink that's really popular right now is not helpful to them as they're growing and they're developing, and it doesn't help with their ability to focus within the classroom. Keeping their plates colorful, I'm sure that's something that we've all heard for a very long time. And just trying to follow this kind of breaks down the amount of servings of fruits, of veggies, of grains, of all that good stuff. But again, just things to keep in mind. We also wanted to include some pictures that are, again, very colorful. Eating colorfully is helpful. Vegetables are not always a child's favorite, but finding ways to creatively incorporate them into the meals is helpful. Again, with that brain development, with them being able to sustain their attention throughout the day. These were just some choices. I know for breakfast, like I said, was difficult, but preparing like egg bites before, the night before, the weekend before, preparing like protein pancakes, anything like that that can help make the mornings a little bit easier, but will fill the students up and give them enough energy throughout the day is very helpful.
So now we're going to talk about why mistakes are important. It's important to remember that mistakes are a part of life. We all make them. It's really important for the little ones because it truly teaches them resiliency. It teaches them how to bounce back from a situation, and it really just promotes that growth mindset. So a student might be in a situation where they didn't make the best choice, and they can say like, oh, I'm not having a good day, but that growth mindset is, I'm not having a good day yet, I'll grow from this. And it's really just important to allow the students to problem solve on their own. You know, I think us as adults and you guys as parents, you know, you want the kids to be that perfect student for their teachers, for us. But support a healthy struggle. So it's important to let your kids know that mistakes are okay. You can share with your kids any mistakes you've made in the past that are similar, because again, you're wanting to build that relationship with your kid, and when the kid is feeling safe and they're feeling heard and misunderstood and understood by their grown-ups, they'll start to feel safe and they're willing to make that change to grow. And we really want to resist the urge to always rescue them. I know parents want to save their kids and we want to save the kids and make sure they're making the best choice, but we just want to offer them guidance, and we can ask them questions like, well, what do you think you could have done instead? And let them really think about it. That way they can make the choice and that answer to show us that they're able to make that appropriate change. So, and then just also it's important for those natural consequences to occur when it's appropriate. So, for example, if your student forgets their homework, the easiest and the safest thing to do is to have mom and dad bring it and the issue is solved. But sometimes, if the kid forgets their homework and if mom and dad don't bring the homework, the natural consequence is they just didn't bring the homework and they might not get credit for it. But I'm pretty sure it won't happen again because they'll learn from their mistakes. So that's a good example of letting the kids learn from their mistakes, because it truly just helps them grow.
That is everything. I know it hopefully felt like a lot of good info, but both of us are here throughout the year to help. If you have questions or concerns about your student, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our emails are up here on the screen. But we are very excited to have you. If you're a new family to Holly, extra excited to have you. If you're a returning family, we are still very happy to have you as well. But please don't hesitate to reach out to either of us. And we're excited to partner with you throughout the rest of the year. So thank you all very much.